I'm actually going to read this stuff off. His name is Ruben Burgos, obviously an entrepreneur, founder of Urban Media Global Network, Dope Chef Clothing, and Dope Chef Sneakers. Really cool name. And today we're going to be focusing on his role as vice president of Car Dealer Now, Cash for Cars, and Empire Digital, where he is looking like a top dog in the digital age. How you doing, Ruben?
I'm very well. Very well. I'm well versed in the digital era of platforms and syndication. So yeah, it's a pleasure for me to be on here. Be with Richie Bello. Known him for more than a decade now. And I've seen multiple episodes of this program and Game Face Monday. So it's honored to be on here as
cool.
A panelist. So yeah.
Thanks, Well, it's an honor to have you. How you doing, Richie?
Good. I'm doing great, Lee. Thanks a lot for asking. Ruben, it's good to see you on here.
Thank you.
Been trying to get you on here for quite some time, but you're always so busy. It's hard to get you, a guy like you, on the show. But
It is.
I also feel a huge honor in having such a great talent human being like yourself on here. And thank you again for joining the show.
When you have friends like you make time for it. And that's what I'm doing, making time for it to put out real good wisdom for the car industry and automobile sector so people could have a threshold and understanding on how we empower each other with knowledge.
Thank you so much, Ruben.
All right. Well, before we get digging in here with Ruben, we're just going to take a 1-minute break to hear from our sponsor, Shop Smart Autos.
We continue to show dealerships across the country how to retain their customers. But now Shop Smart Autos wants to bring the new customers right to your showroom floor. The car they want? It's sitting on your lot. And Shop Smart Autos can bring you the VIN-specific leads that take them straight to your door. These aren't just leads. They're nurtured, targeted, and matched down to the exact vehicle. You'll sell more cars faster, and your team is going to thank you for it. Shop Smart Autos VIN-specific leads. Let SSA show them the way to your showroom floor.
All right. So, Ruben, give us just a little background. I mean, obviously, I listed off all the things that you do, but how did you get from there to here, now in the digital realm?
It took a lot of hours, sleepless nights, and a lot of, dedication into the, sector of automobiles. I came on as an apprenticeship, learning about the car automobile business, to how to syndicate, how to market, how to do a lot of different things that put the car in front of the customer and the consumer. I also learned that you could change the mind state in the way people assume car dealerships or car salesmen. And that's what made me different and unique with the character of coming out in the industry of automobiles. I've sat down with Island Auto Group. I've sat down with Cars.com, their owners and presidents. And everybody loves what I do. But I think the digital age at that time, and this was like a good 6 to 8 years ago, it wasn't as powerful as it is now, with everything going on. So, getting into it, I probably worked more than 20 dealerships, and currently, partnership and ownership of more than 35 dealerships now.
Wow.
I do syndication, I do advertisement, I do promotion. But what carries this in is knowing how to do it, and I had to learn how to do it. It didn't come easy at all. I ain't go to no college. I ain't go to no, semi-vocational school. I actually picked my hands up, took my feet, started stepping out that door, and put myself in front of the owners of dealerships, wanting to learn what was next in the automobile business to take it to the next level, and how could I do that and accomplish that. And digital was one of those things that a lot of dealerships, they're old timers, and they say you can't change an old time person. I influenced and changed a lot of different people into digital and into, getting good programs like Richie Bello. He had programs to where I was a fan of his before I was a friend of his, and it became a learning tool to take it and use it to my advantage of, basically promoting myself and branding myself in front of these car dealerships that they took me in. They gave me a try and they loved me. It was overwhelming, And it just took it to new evolution right there with the car business on getting leads, getting customers, doing sales. You know, I went from selling 10 cars to 150 cars a month.
Wow.
You know, and that's a pretty big, at the time that we were doing it, is pretty big. You know, most car dealerships in the area sold 30, 40 most. You know, I was able to sell 100, 150, get 2 or 3 of the competitors that were on the block, buy their car dealerships out and continue.
Wow.
You know, so it's definitely a learning tool, you know, the automobile business, because you could use that in any aspect of life when it comes to business, and you knowing how to negotiate, you being a public speaker, you basically having the good energy and frequency to catch somebody's heart and intuition on wanting to buy a vehicle.
Right. Awesome. Well, so, and Rich, I'm going to leave this open for the two of you to bounce around a little here, but what are both of your thoughts right now on third-party leads and lead generations methods right now in the industry?
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because you got Facebook, that's a third-party lead. You got Instagram, that's third-party lead. You got Google. If it wasn't for the third-party leads, you have a problem. Then you got marketplaces like Shop Smart Autos, like Cars.com, you know. But the difference is between everything is at Shop Smart Autos, we can generate 200 leads, generate them in a month, generate 500. We're just a lead gen, right? As we have a consumer site, that consumer site goes in, the consumer goes in, it's a whole different, they can go to the directory, they can go to the banner ads, they can go anywhere, right? Like a regular Cars.com. But in reality, we just generate leads, unique leads to that dealership, because if you look at the Federal Trade Commission, we're not a lead gen like anybody else. We're not subscription based, right? We just generate leads. So they have to be, by law, I can only sell it to that one person. You know what I mean? Right. I can't go out there and be a lead gen and sell it to 5 different dealerships. So, and I don't want to. And why is it $50? In some markets, they say, why so cheap? In other markets, they say, why so much money? Because we nurture that lead. We have the AI stuff going on, one of our strategic partners, and we drive those leads into your showroom. That is the difference. You can run as many leads as you want in different marketplaces, but at the end of the day, you got to have that customer walk into the showroom, because we have learned, Ruben and myself, that when you're a salesman in front of a customer, it's a much easier conversion than this and this. And that's why these leads are having a hard time with a lot of dealerships. Even their own internet leads are really ridiculous to get the customer in the door, because they're not professional. So what we've done is we've made it into this product line to drive those people into the showroom. Because what are salespeople good with the customer when they're in front of them, making phone calls? They're making a phone call right now. They see a customer walks in the showroom. They forget about that phone call and they jump to that customer. But meanwhile, that phone is a customer.
Right.
Okay. And it's a whole different thing. So our product line is driving that lead into showrooms.
Right.
And with Ruben, for quite some time, when Dealer Now started and all that, and he started for quite some time, we're friends, first of all. And we have some sort of partnerships and all that we're not ready to go public on yet, but we're going to go public with that. And his product line is amazing. His product line works really, really good. I mean, a dealership should right away after this podcast call Ruben immediately and find out, hey, Ruben, how can I get your brand and your product line, which is Dealer Now, right? Car Dealer Now.
Car Dealer Now.
On have my inventory, because it really works good. Ruben's got this whole process and this whole digital outlet that is amazing in what he does, guys. I want you to pay attention. It's a really good product line. When it comes to digital, I mean, he's it. He really knows the system really, really good. And it's a pleasure that I know him, and it's a pleasure that at the start of this whole thing we were all together. I just don't say, Lee, I got a lot of different partners. I just don't say who they are. Because it doesn't matter. But now we're ready to take this on to the next level because the third party lead stuff is going on, and Ruben's really, really good driving this traffic to lead form, and that's a really good product line. It's amazing what he can do in dealerships. Amazing. I see last two eyes for the last 5-6 years. With my two eyes, I've seen him scale.
Yeah. So Ruben, why don't you tell us a little about Car Dealer now and what these methods are?
Car Dealer now is like a special finance in any car dealership. I don't want to be labeled just as a car dealership program or organization to where it helps dealerships. I want to be an education tool for dealerships. So when we say car salesman is what has to sell the lead. And as far as third party, I'm on another level to where Bello, he basically taught me the phonetics of what a lead is. Me and I take credit for driving a lot of traffic and everything like that. But some of that traffic could be dead traffic, some of it could be good traffic, and you have to have that person with the perfect pitch, the perfect sales rhythm to actually sell it. Now, the whole difference and uniqueness of character and personality with what Bello's doing in his program is he nurtures it. That's something different. That's something next level to a point where if you're talking to a customer, you're not really a salesman. You're basically a specialist that's a car guide for this customer to be evaluated before they get to the dealership and want that. They're going to have all the questions answered. They're going to basically feel comfortable. They're going to know the price and everything like that. This is a whole evolution of what the automobile business was supposed to be. So 8 years ago, or 10 years ago, actually, I was angry because, the sales were going down in most of these dealerships. Most of them couldn't sell more than 20, whatnot. I thought to myself, what's going on? So I sat at multiple dealerships and I seen the leads coming in, but these were good leads and everything. But the way the customer service spoke, the BDC or the salesperson, it was wrong.
Yeah.
So that's where I started. You have to start from the bottom. And behold to a lot of people, I'm the owner. And guess what? When I went into every single one of these dealerships, I would tell the owner, please leave me here a week here as a cleaner. Somebody who's cleaning the showroom, somebody who's sweeping, mopping and stuff like that. I want to see how everything runs. So I would do that. And then they would break it down to them that, I was there for a whole week and, I'm the owner, co-owner of these companies and that I could help them and, gave training in class. So
like undercover boss.
I changed the car salesman, where people call him a car salesman, to digital car specialist. You see? So the sleaziness of what a car salesman is switches to the digital car specialist to where it's more prominent, more, electrifying, more to where I'm not trying to sell you, I'm trying to guide you. So that's what comes with that nurture lead of what Bello's doing, but it's on the other side of the salesperson. So now you got that side and it creates an algorithm to where it's a sale. You have Bello basically doing the nurturing. The car sales people becoming digital car specialists to where they know how to speak, they know how to talk, they know how to navigate and guide the customer to where the comfortability is there. That's the responsibility of the dealership and their salespeople to make a person feel comfortable and not overwhelm them on a sale. And a lot of these dealerships weren't doing that. So third parties came along. And I'm not going to mention no third-party companies as far as big companies because I still, we still do work and everything. But they came along and added ad space and all this other, in between to where the lead is lost, and that created other services and programs from zip codes to different mailing lists in one area and stuff. I don't like none of that. I feel everybody should have an equal opportunity to get any car they want at the fair price that it's uphold to them, and these dealerships, they were going down. A lot of dealerships I went into, they were a week away from shutting down and we kept them open for a good 2 to 5 more years, So it's a benefit in knowing the system and knowing people like Bello, knowing people in the industry, you know, that literally take your whole knowledge to next level and teach the process of going and basically have the customer saying, hey, I want that vehicle. I already spoke to this team. They told me all about it. I already know about the horsepower, know about all the extras, the amenities on this car, everything like that. That's how I want a customer. I want a customer to be excited. I don't want them to come in like, oh, you're playing with my emotions. You're playing with my feelings. You're charging me this. I thought it was this. Nah, we have to be transparent in business, especially in the automobile business, to where everything that's going on with the tariffs, everything that's going on in society, it's not good. And we can make it better because we want everybody to be on the road, a journey in a vehicle in the right way. And
you don't want to be an added pressure. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, Rich, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts is Ruben has always been a real professional, you know, since he jumped in, put his sleeves right up and learned from the start of it, you know, all the way out into the automotive sector and past the automotive sector into the digital space. Because let's face it, he generates a lot of marketing and digital professionalism to car dealerships. But that same tactic and that same technique he's got works in any industry. He's a great marketer. He's a great, you know, programmer. He's great at what he does. And he really, really self-taught. And he is, you know, he impresses me for quite some time because I know him a very long time, and he would call me, hey, Richie, this, and he had already figured it out. Hey, Richie, that, and he had already figured it out. Hey, Richie, this. So he impressed me a lot. I mean, I used to get tired just talking because he got so much energy, you know, and I'm older than him. And, you know, when you're dealing with younger guys like I have all around me, I get tired, you know, they extract my energy, you know, so I got to be always taking vitamins and doing crazy stuff because they got a ton of energy and they are up late at night and call me. And I mean, either they enjoy my character or my personality, I don't know what it is, but they take all that energy out of sometimes Richie. And Ruben is one of those guys that kept learning and growing. And what I figured out about Ruben, I didn't know why he kept learning and growing, because he made a lot of mistakes and he learned from them and accepted them and then grew faster. And then I agree. Boom, boom. And he was all about accepting it and growing, because you really can't learn and grow if you make a mistake and you don't accept that you already made a mistake. I make like 100 mistakes a day and I go out of my way to make those so I learn, right? Because it's a learning process. If you don't learn, you don't grow. You know, and nobody learns from anybody's mistake. Everybody learns from their own mistakes. So that's the thing with Ruben, how he has, it's been in steroids. If you know him, like when I met him to today, it's like he's a computer engineer. Forget about anything else. A digital professional that can do anything today. And it's nice to watch a person like that because he's got a lot of talents, and what he's so successful in what he does that it's amazing how many stores he's got and what he's doing. And it's really crazy how many stores he's helped that were really, really having a rough time.
And I think it's really interesting too, because I'm 48, and I think since I'm a kid, I've always heard two bad words were lawyer and car salesman. It was like dealing with a car salesman. It was like this with a car, oh great, a car salesman. And it's to change that name. When you said it, it was almost like refreshing in my head hearing it. It was such it actually affected me just when you said it. And then I can see the path of you're not just going to be sold. Yeah, it's really.
You know how I got that though, seeing how people were selling the cars. You know, like when they speak and stuff like that, we always say, "Welcome to our family" after selling the car, but we won't do that before. You understand?
Right.
Before, we basically making sure we having the customer inside. We're telling them, hey, you could get that one for cheaper, or you could get that one, it's a little more, and we're upselling.
Right.
Nah, you have to be transparent. And
Right.
just like you said, that feeling of knowing that you're speaking with a digital car specialist is better than somebody saying, hey, I'm your salesman.
Right.
Because then you have no confidence in what you do as far as guiding them or evaluating them or answering all their questions, whatnot. So now a digital car specialist, he changes that dynamic and everything, like what this program does. It nurtures. You understand? Bello's program nurtures. That means that he's consistent with it. That means he's making sure that that customer feels a vibe, an energy. He's making sure that customer basically gets into that showroom knowing, hey, I got a good person that guide me here. This is the vehicle I'm going to get. I already know all the aspects. I already know what's going on. I already know my price. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get, and I'm going to stick to it. Because you know what? After 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month of this guy speaking to me and asking me if I was okay on the road, what type of vehicle, let him look more. He guided me. He was specialized in just doing that. And it makes them feel more family-like than somebody just selling them a car.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts on I'm hearing a lot of negativity, feeling a lot of negativity about car dealership websites and trying to create traffic through sites. Does that seem to be a dilemma I'm hearing?
So, okay, let's answer this in the proper way because I don't want nobody to feel disgruntled. So with platforms today, a lot of these platforms that are car dealership platforms, the owners are more older. So that means the platforms itself are very old and they don't tend to grow with the new. So you know how everybody is so hype about artificial intelligence, whatnot, and all it does and everything like that brings in. It's a good tool, but now how many people are talking about SI, synthetic intelligence? How many people are talking about ROI that actually goes on syndicate sites that are third party but translate into buying of leads and everything like that and organic? How many people are actually going and checking the Carfax and seeing if it's certified with the site itself? How many people are going on different sites and third-party sites and seeing that the price is the same without fees or whatnot? It's impossible. You'll find like 1 out of every 10 sites of car dealerships actually transparent with third-party sites. That's because when the dealership is in there, they could control their price. But when they submitted it, it was another price already. You know, so a lot of them fall short in a digital age, not knowing when transparency hits a wall, they lose a customer.
Right. Yeah, Rich, what are your thoughts on that? We've been bouncing around talking about that for a bit.
There's two things. The websites that they all have, I don't want to mention any names. The websites they all have, the ones that sell it to the dealers, they're all the same old technology. What is the old technology? Those websites were not intended for what's happening today.
Right.
Those websites were intended for display.
Yeah, like a brochure.
If you look at ShopSmart, at the beginning of ShopSmart that Ruben looked at, there was a lot of things we did. The naked eye doesn't see that. It's all a new code. Everything is updated as of last November. It's got the capability of AI agents going on and searching. And
the filters are great. The filters are great in that system.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. It's the fastest one out there right now. It scores an A. We did the analytics compared to my competitors. Why is that? Why is it that fast? And why is it costing us a fortune to make it that quick? Well, because if you don't have that kind of speed, you're never going to convert anything. How are you going to convert anything? Your bounce rate's going to be off the chain. So we have everything wrapped up on the speed because speed has to do with conversion. These new websites don't have that type of technology. So websites like myself, Rubens, and all that, we're all together on this. We got the speed happening. When you have the speed, you have the conversion happening, right? You can drive anything you want from Facebook, right? And is it going to convert driving traffic to your website? The answer is no. Are you going to convert when you put Facebook leads? Yes, because you're using Facebook system. So now when you get that lead from Facebook, a big percentage is air. There's no conversion to the sale, right? So, and that's what we're talking about. It's conversion to the sale that a dealership cares about. It's not the lead. The lead means nothing, really. If you don't have that appointment and that customer coming in the store and you closing that customer and you delivering a car to that customer, the lead means nothing.
Right.
That doesn't mean anything. Great that you have leads. So what does that mean?
Right.
That doesn't mean anything. Everybody's in the business for one thing. How many cars could I deliver? That's what really matters.
Right.
Nothing else matters. All these marketplaces and all that, if they're not set up with how you should be set up, with a process of driving customers in the showroom, because digitally you're going to drive them, and then what? That salesman's not going to do what they have to do. You have to drive those people in your showroom to give people opportunities, so you're selling cars. And these websites were not intended. None of them were intended for this. And then they have a whole marketing arm because they've developed these websites, whatever, for dealers. So they have a whole marketing arm. Well, that marketing arm is ridiculous on conversion. It's not good. And that's why the acquisition for the dealership is so expensive. Where Rubens is not expensive, where ShopSmart is not expensive, where certain brands out there are not that expensive to convert a deal. So and have everything around it.
A lot of these brands, they play monopoly. So they have like 20, 30 sites with the same program, just different template face. And, it gets me somewhat upset that you're taking the hardworking dollar of people who try to be mom and pop dealerships and, come up, and you're charging them so high for less value of not getting anything, as opposed to a program like Bello or myself, to where you charge very little and you're getting the most of it. You understand? Like you're getting anywhere from 5-6 times the amount making in, even on 2 or 3 cars, one car you're paying for a program.
Right.
Most of these dealerships, they had these $10,000, $15,000 mailers, whatnot. I'm not for any of this stuff. Why? Because you could do more yourself and put in that much energy and get more in return than you put in a company that you really don't know the back end. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know the analytics. You don't know the statistics. You don't know the algorithm. You don't know what methods they're using. You don't know whether you're going to be gray area or scaled on your website because they use some type of technique. You don't know if they're up to guidelines on the dealership type sites, and I'm going to touch on the platform as far as he said that, it's all the same. It's true. It's all the same. And this certain company, they have close to, I believe it's 134,000 dealerships across the United States. I work with him directly. I do a little method on algorithm and syndication, but he has this because he built it simple, site friendly, simple, because older people, they don't know about all these buttons or where to press or scroll down. They don't know about heat signature, none of that. So he built it like this and was able to get that much customers. But now what he did with that platform, he made it only $200 for each dealership. Now, he basically became a winner on that because he did it at the time to where no other technology was up there like that when it came to content management systems for the automobile business.
Right.
Now you have AI, you have all these platforms that could be so graphically enhanced. You want them a meta, you want different type of visuals or perspectives to where you're taking it to VR and AR now. And these sites have to look more dynamic, more video inclusion, with speed. That's another key thing. You want these sites to be really fast. You don't want them to be waiting with a loading and all this. And a lot of these people, they don't use the back end of it as far as meta tag, meta description. They don't want to do that. They don't put the work in. So the energy is not there and the frequency is off because they're not getting that many sales. As opposed to a program that you have nurturing somebody, a consumer, or you have a program that basically is checking longitude, latitude metrics of advertisement for everybody that passes that certain dealership, and their advertisement comes on the phone or their computer, whatnot. Those are different methods. But what methods work at the end is people who feel comfortable with how you're giving it to them. So if you're giving a nice cake right there, right out the oven, as opposed to one that's all broken up, eaten and cold, whatnot, you're gonna eat that cake that's hot. Right. And right now, in these times and stuff like that, evolution of digital is hot. Yeah. There ain't anything selling without a digital process in it. So that digital process has to be taken to the next level to where it's evaluated. The dealership basically knows how to notate and how to have its specialists in car sales and stuff like that articulate themselves the right way, as opposed to trying to sell and pitch and just throw it at the customer. You know, it's a lot of elements that come to it. And they say you need a team to make the dream work. For the dealership business in these times, you need your team to be on the same page, and your dealership has to be transparent to make it work. And the only way you can make it transparent in these days is upgrading your technology and basically finding programs like this that are very, very sharp, that basically bring your monetary gain to the next level. You don't want to be a liquid asset. You want to be a hardbound asset to where you're making money on your return. You understand? So,
and let me just say this. The new car franchises go out and get a website. There's plenty of companies out there. There's a company out there that, of course, it's co-opable. Okay. Who cares? They got 5,000 dealerships. All right. They say third-party leads, don't know why, because they sell the dealership $20,000 a month on ads, on Facebook ads, this ad, that ad, this ad, okay, on Google ads, very big with Google ads. So 20,000, you know, you figure out 20,000 a month times 5,000 dealerships. You're talking about $100 million a month. 100 million. So of course they're going to tell that dealership, don't get leads from ShopSmart. Don't get leads from Car Dealer Now. Why would they say that? It will cost them a lot of money when we have leads that convert 8 to 10% with the phone calls and the appointments that it never did before. Right. But right now, that's why marketplaces are hot. Let's take TrueCar. All right. Mr. Painter, what did he do? He bought it back because he's coming back to the market in strong with a company that does the nurturing part. Okay. That's why it's like that. So, Mr. Dealer, you get $50 you pay $50 a lead with the nurturing program. Together for what, 30 days for nothing and no charge? Okay. And now let me ask you this question. After that whole thing, that's 30 days, now we keep nurturing that, right, to get that customer back in if you want us to, Mr. Dealer. So now you're at 7-8%. You know, now you're at 10%. So now your ROI is so much better. These companies that do these websites, they know that they need 20 grand for conversion. Right. It's done. It's a machine. That's the way it is. They want to make as much money from the dealership as possible. They're not the dealership's friends, but the dealerships think that it works, that's the way it works. They sell cars like that. But it costs you 20 grand to sell cars. We'll give a lead generation company $10,000 that nurtures and watch what happens to you. You blow right through it because we really convert. We're not a website that doesn't. Why do you think they haven't upgraded their technology? Because they don't want to upgrade their technology. It's real simple to upgrade it. They don't want to upgrade it because at the back end is where they're making money. Right. They get the website co-op, everything co-op, and now they're hitting you with 20 grand a month in marketing. And they all have in their company somebody that's a CMO digitally that does marketing and marketing and marketing. That is their profit center. Their profit center is not the website. Right. Okay, so Mr. Deal, if you have somebody that does the website and they want to hate you with marketing, just get that website from them. Go to somebody else for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Stop the nonsense because you don't know what you're doing in the digital space, and it's costing you a fortune to sell cars. How could a cost per acquisition be what, $1,000? To deliver a car, it's $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, how could it be? And in some areas, like you take the Queens area, you're talking about $1,400-$1,500.
Right.
Yep.
Because of the search. 14 or 1,500. It's not a secret. We know the search. Ruben and myself knows what it costs. We talk about this all the time. It's really feels like if I'm a dealer, I would blow my head off. Really, to be honest, I would blow my head off because I wouldn't believe how much money this is costing.
Right.
And then it's costing you all kinds of money. You're not even retaining those customers. That's the other thing. So it's costing you a fortune. It's like, you know what's going to happen? Co-op is going to be really, really stopped or looked at in a whole different way because it's overspending.
Right.
For no conversion, because all these guys are just trying to take gut of the dealership, and they're doing a great job. Trust me, they're doing their job and taking everything from the dealers.
Right.
It's amazing. And the dealer believes in them because they're a brand and they're this and they're that, and they go to NADA and da 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 da, and they're nice, but they're taking you out.
Yeah,
it's true. You know,
it doesn't cost that much to generate leads.
It doesn't, and you know, like I'm gonna touch on this briefly, but like I have Euro Auto in London. We're on a complete different level than what United States do. We're on VR AR, which is virtual reality, augmented reality, to where you could go online, you could look at the car from inside, it rotates around, you could buy the car directly online, and it's delivered to you. Wow. You know, that's exactly 6 to 8 years more advanced than what United States is doing right now. And certain programs, you can't have that much secure sockets, meaning what they use on compliance for the automobile business in the United States. They won't let certain programs like that in because of what it does on conversion, on how it actually not hacks, but white hacks, you know, different metrics and bringing in customers. You know, this is what next evolution is. I told one of my partners, you know, on 2 dealerships, yo, I want to shut this down. I have no remorse on shutting something down if it's not working. If it's not working, shut it down. He said, why? I said, I want to try something. I want to put all the gates down. And this 60 cars, I want to put on this site and stuff like that. And let's do the 360 real quick. Within a day and a half, all 60 of those cars sold.
Wow.
With no customer service, no BDC. And basically, because of the way the VR meta description and tags, which is keywords, was coming in on those cars through online. I didn't need anything else, just that. And it worked. Would I put that system back out? No, because of manpower. You understand a whole bunch of different reasons. But now that we're going into this digital age, you're going to see a lot of partnerships with me and Bello that is going to go next level to where globally, it's a big system. You know, we've mentioned 34, 35 dealerships and stuff. A lot of people don't know also I'm a partner with more than 34 different trucking dealerships as well. You know, truck ships basically. You understand? With Gabrielli in New Jersey, Gabrielli trucks, whatnot. You know, and I didn't know anything about trucks at all. They took me to a truck yard and started explaining to me why these trucks are 250,000, 500,000 industrial trucks. So, you know, I looked at that and was like, wow, I was amazed because of all the contracts that come from contractors, building contractors, you know, different type of boroughs. And I started looking at contractors and stuff and boroughs that they're using permit services for industrial trucks. So that was my niche right there. Okay, look for these companies. Yeah. And I wound up doing that. And within a couple of days, close to 1,000 leads.
Wow.
1,000 leads. And, you know, the owner, they were like, yo, we're amazed. They sat me with their whole digital team. The digital team was back end to where they're using old technology, whatnot, you know, and I don't knock anybody's platform, but like when you use something that can't convert or is not doing well, you have to change it up. You have to change it up. If it's not working, fix it. If it's working, no need to fix it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a lot that goes into this. And when you educate a system works for you. A system can't be educated unless you're doing something and putting that energy forth. So for all these dealerships, I would tell them look for programs now that are next level and evolution wise to where it's a nurture program, evolution wise to where a syndicate could trap different type of clientele and bring them to your door, evolution wise to where you could use Google Sat, Google Longitude and put out ads. And I could give one method like that for free, basically. But like, you understand, there's certain things that people do that is beyond compliant in this industry. It's always a gray area.
Right.
One thing that I tell people is, listen, your product, you put it on search engines, right? They like, yeah. We do all those programs, and we got somebody that we pay $1,000, $2,000 to do SEO. That's the worst statement you could make to someone like me. I write 47 coding languages. I have over 4,000 websites. To tell me that, and to tell me that it's in the automobile business, is telling me that you're not actually leveling up to today's times. So for everybody that doesn't know, you don't do SEO no more in the car automobile business. You do PEO. So it can have more sites to go on, more XML transcript to basically put on as a sale of a product. Your vehicles are products. They're not made to be put on a search engine just as a permanent page. So that's what that is, search engine. You understand? You're putting your page out to be know this brand and all this. Nah, automobile business doesn't do that no more. They do PEO, product engine optimization. So it takes it to the next level to where your syndication method, it comes more faster, more rapid, and you have more intellectual property substantial with your brand.
Right.
You know, Bello's done a great job with it. You know, some of the people, who was the other one? El Patron, he's another one. You understand? Like, there's so many people, Ozzy from Caribbean, there's so many people that I've worked with, and I've taken little ingredients from each one, and I've made a pot to where it cooks a perfect stew.
That's a beautiful thing. Let the audience know how should they find you?
CarDealerNow.com. NewYorkCarMonthly.com, NewYorkCarAutomotive.com. Those are two magazines I just named because all those magazines, they have all the sites and everything like that. I don't want to get too big on the sites, but any car dealership, you need help and everything like that, we could have people go there physically and explain this to you. And don't feel that you have to buy right there. Look into it. See the positive, see the pros and cons. And I guarantee you there's not that many cons at all. There's all pros because it's next level of professionalism and transparency to where business and the education book that's being read to you is being taught in phonetics of you making more money on your return on investment. So if I'm paying $2,000 to $3,000 for 50 leads, that's actually good because another company would have charged anywhere from $80 to $90 a lead if you really think about it on the back end and front end. And that program of you getting the program and everything, really, it comes out to pretty penny. And that doesn't guarantee the lead. As far as this, it's a semi-guarantee because it's saying, hey, you know what? We're talking to the customer on a regular. We're basically telling the customer, listen, this is what you need. This is how you have to come in. Oh, you change your mind on that? Okay, let's find you something better. Let's put you in an appropriate car that makes you feel comfortable. What's your buying limit? You know, I don't want you to basically hinder yourself on bills. You have to know how to put everything in perspective. It's called reasonable common sense. And a lot of people don't have it in the automobile business. They just want to sell. How many cars do I got for the week? Okay, how much can I make on this? Nah, let's not do that. You could sell more by putting out that positive vibe of capturing the customer and having the customer say, yo, that's family that just helped me.
Yeah.
You know how many people call me on a regular? That's another thing. I retain a lot of customers of more than I think. I got like 7,000 regular emails and phone numbers to where they call me when their car's up and they need a new car to be put in. So I'll never have to have a car dealership again. And I still have that many customers still calling me, and I could broker cars if I wanted to. You know, so It's a lot that comes to this industry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're blessed to be around some of the best in the industry as far as, going and learning new trades and new value that bring value to me and the companies that I have.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, Rich, I mean, Ruben is a wealth of information here, but do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap here?
I just say that this company that Ruben has built, he's built it from the ground up, and it's really rocking. I got a lot of his stores right now. We're working together with a lot of this whole product line that he does. I mean, and Ruben is really, really good, and it's a pleasure to have Ruben as one of our people that are really, really in the back end and helping us, scale to the next level. And he's always been there. Just it's hard to get a hold of him because he's really a busy, busy guy. I mean,
when he says busy,
forget
he's not
about
lying
it.
whatsoever. With that busyness, listen, I just came from a weekend these last 2 days of having 118 artists and more than 16 venue events. Wow, and all of them being successful. I had Mike Epps. I had, a whole bunch of different major artists and everything like that. That's because every business caters to being specialized. So everyone's completely correct when they say you could use this in any environment. You could use this type of verbiage. You could use this type of energy frequency in music, film, fashion, automobile, American literature. You could keep going. It's the same algorithm. Algorithm never changes. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. You have to go with the times. You have to move with the times. Be mindful and strategic to a point where you're making money behind what you're investing. You understand? If it's not coming back 3 to 5 times better, then that strategic ain't working for you. You have to go to the next one. And the next one in these times is a nurture program that could benefit you and your dealership, and programs that are syndicate aggregators like myself that put you out in front of everybody with PEO and then streams and pipeline monetization and everything. Because a lot of these dealerships don't know you can also monetize on your content, All these dealership people that are working, doing nothing whatsoever, take them out, have them record videos, put it on TikTok, put it on all these channels, whatnot, and stream, pipe stream. They get monetized game. That could be their check every week. Do something like that. But change the game before it changes you, and dealerships will be
change the game before the game changes you and you go right under, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure having you on, Ruben, and I think I'd love to have you back just to pick your brain even more. And for everyone out there, definitely look him up. Actually, you could probably just walk outside in the street and say his name once, and he'll pop up somewhere. But
I'll teleport.
And Richie, as always, thanks for having me by your side.
Thank you.
And I'm going to be gone for a short stint, but the show must go on. So Richie's going to be plugging away for a little bit without me, but I'll be back on the air again soon.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Hope you both have a great day. And thanks to everyone out there for watching.
Thank you for the interview, Wolf. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I definitely look forward to actually being on your show again. This is a wealth of information. And for us to carry informative, different topics, whatnot, and teach the industry that this is the way to go. Let's take this route to where, it empowers a lot of people.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.